Wow, what a mansion! I hope this isn't one of those games with traps that lead to an instant game over. Yeah. Dr. Hauzer is a game from the prehistoric time of 1994. Gen Z didn't exist yet. The only way to legally play it is to buy a 3DO. Yes, it's that old. Who even knows what a 3DO is nowadays? The game was developed by Riverhillsoft. If that name sounds familiar to you, you're either in your mid-30s or you watched a lot of retrospectives about old video games. Nice. They were the ones who made Overblood, which is a horror game that came out the same year as Resident Evil, and is equally as goofy. Probably goofier. Speaking of Resident Evil, we all know that Alone in the Dark was a major inspiration for it, but I believe this game also played a major part in its development. I mean, look at this door animation. There's also a stair animation. Now that was ahead of its time. You could argue that they just copied it from Sweet Home, which is the actual spiritual prequel for Resident Evil. Dr. Hauzer, on the other hand, almost nobody is talking about this game, but it seems to be a major stepping stone for survival horror. There was one notable person who did give it the credit it deserves. The director of the original Silent Hill, Keiichiro Toyama, mentioned Dr. Hauzer as one of the games that made him interested in making horror games in the first place. So that's cool. If Alone in the Dark is like Wolfenstein and Doom, you know, games that laid out the groundwork for their respective genres, and Resident Evil is like Quake, where the genre became more defined and realized, Dr. Hauzer is like Rise of the Triad, a weird, experimental, in-between phase. Unfortunately, Dr. Hauzer is only available in Japanese. Luckily, there's a fan translation. It's not perfect, but we're gonna use it anyway. It translates everything besides the opening cutscene, so I'm just gonna sum it up for you. I'm also going to show you the whole game, so if you're worried about spoilers from an obscure game from 1994, good, it means you have your priorities straight. You know what's important in life. So the game takes place in 1952, which was quite a long time ago, and follows the protagonist, a reporter named Adams Adler. No, not Adam Sandler.
The hole! That's your hole! Are you too good for your hole? Answer me!
He's been busy covering stories about this weird doctor dude, Dr. Hauzer. One day, the good doctor disappeared, so Adler, having nothing better to do with his life, tracks down his last known location, a spooky mansion. It's a survival horror game from the mid-90s. Of course it's a spooky mansion. He goes inside. Why is the loading in caps lock? Now, loading! He goes inside and immediately realizes that the place is haunted. The door locks behind him. A chandelier falls down, and there's sound effects from Friday the 14th. Okay, before we go any further, we have to talk about the presentation. First of all, look at that face. It's kind of weird going from pixelated graphics to something so detailed, but I like it. He's looking around, all serious and shit. He does this a lot. He only has two expressions. This, and this goofy one for when he gets scared. You know, sometimes I'm not even sure if this is supposed to be a horror game. If this gameplay footage reminds you of something, then yes, you probably shouldn't have gone to that abandoned house while you were drunk. But also, Alone in the Dark, minus the pointy mustache. I'm going to compare between the two a lot. At first, I thought it was some kind of spin-off, because it looks so similar. Nope, it's not. It is very similar though. Spooky house with lots of traps.
Which was the style at the time?
Traps that instantly kill you with almost no warning, which is a piece of game design I hate, but yeah, it was popular back then. How was I supposed to know there's an abyss behind this door? Well, I guess there are weird and unexpected things behind my door as well, there are rooms that simply exist to kill you, like this one. I touch the faucet and the whole place is filled with water. Well, excuse me for examining things in a survival puzzle adventure game.
Oh, fuck.
By the way, you see how slow this is? This is how the game was actually meant to be played, with like 5 FPS. I'm not kidding, this is the authentic Dr. Hauzer experience. There's a reason for that. Unlike Alone in the Dark and Resident Evil, which didn't exist yet, this game is fully 3D, no pre-rendered backgrounds. The 3DO wasn't powerful enough to handle it, so this is what people in the 90s had to deal with. It's very impressive that this even existed back then, but yeah, for the sake of your sanity and my own, I increased the frame rate. The text will go by faster and will be harder to read, but at least we're not stuck in eternal slow motion. I'll just slow down the footage whenever there's something to read. There's a lot more interactivity in this game than you might think. You can look outside of windows and hear creepy sounds. You can move objects by walking towards them, but you can also push them. You can even push them backwards. You can even push them to create a makeshift passageway. That's cool. Another impressive thing in this game is that you can switch perspectives. You have the classic fixed camera, a top-down camera, and first person. I really like it. More games should have this. You can even look up and down. This is a game from 1994. Yeah, all of this stuff kills the performance, but it's really cool. Adler likes to move his head. If you switch to first person, the camera will actually move back and forth. I really like having this much control over the camera. It's more control than I have over my own life. So Adler goes inside the spooky mansion. As a professional enjoyer of survival horror games, the first thing I did was look at the clock. There's always something fishy with clocks in these games. I just wiggled my finger, but you couldn't see that. Of course there's a key inside, so I take it and... oh, something is watching me. I'm sure it's nothing. When you examine locked doors, Adler will actually tell you if you have a key for the door. That's convenient. Okay, this is a puzzle game, so let's examine stuff. That's a nice dry flower. Okay, what happens if I touch this vase? Oh, he's dead. Okay. Yeah, again, the game has a lot of bullshit that just kills you instantly, without you having any idea it would happen. Nothing to indicate that examining a freaking vase could be deadly. Pro tip, save often, except when you can't. The game actually won't allow you to save whenever there's something dangerous nearby. You can actually use that to your advantage. It's a good way to check if the current area is dangerous, and it usually is. The saving mechanic actually has an in-game explanation. Kind of. Adler is documenting the events of the game in a notebook, because he's a reporter. He likes to write stuff. Much like Harry was writing his thoughts into notes in Silent Hill 1, which also acted as a save system. Man, this game was way ahead of its time. You can also control the speed and direction of an item you're examining. Another thing Resident Evil took inspiration from. Okay, this painting shows a vase with a flower. So I put the flower I took from the other vase and bam!
Wham bam, done.
The painting is actually a door. In the next area, we find the first part of Dr. Hauzer's diary. There's no voice acting in this game, so this is how we learn about the story. We need to read like we're in school or something. Apparently, Hauzer has been spending a lot of his time in a dig site, where he discovered some kind of ancient biblical artifact. He got curious and gathered a team of excavators to help him dig deeper. Even in this first diary entry, he was already showing signs of not being well in the head. He became obsessed and didn't want to reveal his discoveries to the public, claiming it all belongs to him. Okay, forget about that boring stuff. Watch this. If you run backwards, it looks like this. Who taught you how to run, Adler? That's a nice boulder. Why is there a random picture of a boulder here? Oh, I get it. In order to not die, you need to run here and wait for it to pass, which looks familiar, doesn't it? Adler goes upstairs and finds a note on the floor. The note warns about Hauzer going insane and killing off his staff. There's also a corpse here. I'm sure it's just a coincidence, like in Alone in the Dark, or you need to break the protagonist's back and touch every single thing in order to find items. Because everything looks the same, there's no way of knowing if you'll find anything, so you have to examine everything. There's a shotgun here, but don't get too excited, there's no enemies in this game. Yeah, didn't I mention that? You've seen how the game runs when only Adler is on screen? Imagine what would happen if you add enemies. The game will probably drop to negative FPS. There's only one shot inside. Dr. Hauzer doesn't really feel like a complete game. It feels like a prototype for a more elaborate experience. Mostly because it's short, but also because of its simplicity. All you do is walk around and solve puzzles. This is basically like an escape room, only the escape rooms I've been to usually don't contain bottomless pits, and creepy old men who stare at me. Okay, it happened once, but I don't want to talk about it. I usually don't like it when there's no combat system, but in this case, maybe it's for the best. Maybe it's better than having combat like in The puzzles themselves are super easy. It's always find an item, then use the item on something. That's it. Dr. Hauzer is essentially the prototype for Overblood. It's not very challenging, but maybe I prefer that over some of the more convoluted puzzle solutions in Adler finds a secret passage in this wine cellar. A ladder takes him to a lower floor. There he finds notes about a cherub, a deity only surpassed by the seraphim and God himself. Wait, the seraphim? Oh, not this again. There's also a magical tree with a fruit that can grant eternal life. Hauzer is trying to find a way to eat it. In the same area, we find another one of his diaries. Apparently his wife died some time ago. She was loyal and loving towards him, while he completely forgot about her existence. Yup, that's what we men like to do. We love to forget about people who care about us while we're busy digging up ancient artifacts. Happens all the time. She died from an illness, and he admits that he loved her and needed to spend more time with her. What a simp, am I right? Okay, that's pretty sad. Maybe he needs someone to talk about it. Oh, spooky ghost. Wait, that's him. Nice tie. Wait, is he dead? Then why did I even come here? It seems the good doctor is the one hunting this mansion, meaning he's responsible for all of the deaths I've suffered, so we gotta stop him. His wife needs this to cook? Yes, Adler, even crazy people need to eat. Even though the game looks the way it looks, the developers still managed to use the limited visuals to create some memorable scenes. Like this one, where you break some planks with a crowbar only to reveal a pathway shrouded in darkness. It's simple, but neat. It's too dark to see anything, so we need to find a light source.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Apparently, Hauzer's wife was cooking for Adler, so she made you dinner, didn't she? You were sleeping with her, you dog. So that's why you're investigating this place. You're hoping you can get some of that sweet Mrs. Hauzer ass. Wait, what's this? Oh no, the floor is sinking. Be honest, you'd want your house to have traps like this. If your legs touch the darkness, even a little bit, you instantly plummet down to your death. Makes sense. This might surprise you, but you can jump in Dr. Hauzer, which kind of sucks in a game like this, but at least it's better than it was in At least you have a dedicated jumping button for that and you don't need to go to a menu. So Adler found Hauzer's lithograph, which supposedly contains ancient writings. They didn't have Google Translate back then, so they had to translate themselves, which is much scarier than this whole game. We also found a candlestick and a lighter, which leads us to another moment similar to 8D1, walking in the darkness with a light source. This leads Adler to what I assume is Hauzer's bedroom. The bed is neatly made. And there's another diary. One of the staff members broke an artifact, which is probably the lithograph, so obviously he must die. There's just no other way. Really? You couldn't think of anything else other than to murder someone for breaking your stuff? Supposedly Hauzer actually did find a way to paradise, where he could retrieve the fruit of immortality. There's glass that's blocking the way and we have to break it with the shotgun. Why can't I use an axe that I found? Why do I have to waste my only shotgun shell? Why is there an epic montage of Adler shooting the glass? It's not that cool. This leads us back to the hallway. And oh no, it's the corpse I already saw a few minutes ago. If you keep examining the body, the cutscene will just repeat itself, like he's shocked over and over again. That's funny. After going through Sen's fortress and walking on invisible glass Adler finds the last diary entry. Hauzer became increasingly more paranoid and basically admits to wanting to kill everyone involved in his little project. He also threatens to kill anyone else who might interfere, including policemen and other college professors. You know, I had a teacher like that in school. He told his students that he'll give them an A on their tests if they just sacrifice themselves in order to make him immortal. Ha! What a goofball. Hey, what's up with this clock? Right. Of course the clock kills me with an arrow. How didn't I see that coming? Stop looking at me, Hauzer! Next to his painting, there's a switch. Pressing it causes the clock to fire prematurely. Yeah, I know how that feels. Now we can get past the clock. Remember how I complained how it was stupid not using the axe to break the glass and instead waste a shotgun shell? Well, the axe actually goes here. Placing the axe reveals this painting to be a secret passage. Question: if almost every doorway is a secret passage, is it still considered a secret? Here we find the most significant item, a photo of Dr. Hauzer's wife. It's important not because I think Adler wants to bang her, it's important for another reason. It will be very useful very soon. We also find some dynamite. While exploring, the fireplace begins to move by itself. Look at this cool mid-90s animation. Behind it is a ladder, and this is the closest the game gets to being suspenseful. You're going down, and suddenly you fall to your death. You think it's just another trap, just another one of the game's silly pranks. But in actuality, you awaken in a completely new area. It's the dig site where Hauzer was searching for paradise, I think. And for the first goddamn time, the music has changed. Yeah, up until now there was only one music track, which is nice and creepy, but it got repetitive, since it was the only thing playing. Now this plays instead. Spooky. Anyway, there's a corpse here. How's it hanging? Look, I get killing people to preserve your secrets, but why did Hauzer hang him? Maybe he thought it was cool? Did Hauzer eat part of him? This poor fellow has the last key we need. Before using it though, we need to blow up this wall. Thank God I found this dynamite. Now I just need to light it up. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, right, do not stand close to it when it's about to explode. Okay, this time I run back and not blow up, thank you very much. The wall explodes and behind it, a single minecart. Look at that, he has no fear inside of him. He's determined to finish this. What a champ! With no other option, Adler hops in and we get the longest ride ever. No, seriously, this cutscene was like 30 seconds for me. And that's after I made the game go faster. Under normal speed, this probably takes like 5 minutes. It eventually stops next to the last door of the game. It's locked. Luckily, we picked up a key from that hanging dead guy. Now it's time to go inside.
It's unlocked.
We find the ancient ruins Dr. Hauzer was searching for all of this time. His spirit is here, and it fuses with this blue stone to gain immortality? Okay. This is the only cutscene in the game where two characters actually talk to each other. Still no voice acting though. Basically, Hauzer achieved his goal. He found the cherub and the tree with the special fruit, which was probably an apple, but he didn't do it just because he's a power-hungry maniac. His wife died 2 years ago. He thought that by achieving immortality, he would rise to a higher plane of existence, where he would be able to meet with her once again. But that didn't happen. He blames Adler for it, saying he scared her away? Look at that face. How can it scare anyone away? You! She left because of you! No, Professor, I didn't do it. It was you! You slept with her and never called back, you little rascal! Okay, you got me, but at least I used protection. You can tell I'm a professional voice actor, right? He begins to attack, and just like in Aitudu, the game ends with the spirit of the final boss fusing with an inanimate object, which then shoots fireballs at you. And somehow a tree was involved. Why is this so similar? In both cases, you need to throw something at him. There, it was a lantern, and in Dr. Hauzer, it's a picture of his wife. Look at the way he runs while extending his hand. It looks epic. The picture causes Hauzer to explode, while Adler is making stupid facial expressions. I love that. I love how he's freaking out, but then goes back to being serious, and is like, oh yeah, I should probably get out of here. He takes another long cart ride, which somehow takes him outside of the mansion. He quickly walks away, and watches as the whole mansion plummets into the abyss. This is the same feeling I get when I flush the toilet every day. The mansion and the darkness plaguing this place are gone without a trace, like they never existed. The game ends with a narration from Adler. He wrote about what happened, but doesn't want to publish his notes because no one would believe him, and that he doesn't want to believe it himself. This makes him seem traumatized by the events of the game, even though he didn't seem affected by it, like, at all. I mean, look at that face. Yeah, he was spooked for a second, but then he got all serious and determined, and started running away like a cartoon character. The game actually ends with a goofy bloopers montage. Look how wacky this is. I guess now we know where Silent Hill 1 got the idea from. This may not look like it, but Dr. Hauzer is actually a really fun game. I actually enjoyed it. Maybe part of it is because it's short and didn't overstay its welcome. If you somehow get a chance to play it, either by buying a 3DO for $1 million on eBay or by other means, then you should play it. Especially if you're curious about the roots of survival horror. Yeah, everyone says that Alone in the Dark and Sweet Home are the predecessors to Resident Evil, but this game was important too. It shouldn't be overlooked. The developers of this game would go on to create Overblood a couple of years later, which is also an obscure game, but less so. It has its own quirks. I know this was a much shorter video than usual. Don't worry, the next one is going to be long and insane. Thanks for watching. This is the end of the video. Please like, comment and subscribe. Do all of the YouTube stuff. please share the video, because YouTube doesn't want to share it itself. YouTube doesn't want to promote it, because YouTube's algorithm doesn't care about videos like this. It wants to restrict the videos that you watch and instead promote AI slop to you. Or maybe it's something to do with ad blockers, or whatever's going on with YouTube. Don't let them win. Thanks again.